Hello, everybody. Welcome to Townsend 909, or welcome back. We're just doing a general hangout stream. No video idea, no topics.
Okay.
Well, topics that come as they go. First, just for heads up, we're gonna be me and Briar from Briar's Music Showcase. We're gonna be, ironically, the one person that's not on the stream right now. We're gonna be doing the Rolling Stones Hackney Diamonds review tomorrow. Hear my thoughts on that. I'm not going to say a word on it. And future video coming up next year, me and Jason will be ranking all 24 of the UK albums from the Rolling Stones all the way to Hackney Diamonds. One thing I will say, there's three albums that Scott sent for me for Christmas. But before I show those, what as a whole, what do you think of the Rolling Stones discography as a whole?
I have to be honest, I'm not like a big fan. Even going through 24, or I've gone through 23 albums of the 24, and I would say there's a lot of albums I did not like in the whole thing, and there's a lot of albums to get through, so it's quite a chore to get through all the albums. There are some good ones in there though, but I don't think it's nearly as strong as some of the other bands I've been listening to, if I be honest.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh yeah. Also, tomorrow, speaking of big discographies, we're gonna be reviewing the Kinks' fourth album, Face to Face. I'm looking forward to reviewing that one. That's one of my top 100 albums of all time. From that album to Lola. But yeah. Well,
For me, the Rolling Stones, I'm more of a casual fan of the Stones. So just give me Aftermath, Between the Buttons, Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, Out of Our Heads, and then Hot Rocks, and that's pretty much all I need for the Stones.
For me, I'm a huge Stones fan. I've loved them both bands were introduced to me by my father. He would be more on your guys' boat. He's more of a Beatle fan. For the past year now, I've been leaning towards the Stones, but I respect the Beatles a ton, of course. I feel like for the most part, I mentioned this in our group chat that I think studio-wise, the Beatles were a lot more creative. Even with the Rolling Stones 60 plus years around, I feel like the Beatles were just better in the studio. The studio was like the Beatles toy. It was, to me, it's like they used it in their advantage, and I feel like that's one thing that the Stones never did, was use the studio that much. But
I feel like the Stones would have been a better band to see live.
That's what Tramster says.
They're a little more lively, you mean? With Mick Jagger at the
if you see the Beatles live, you can't hear the music because all you hear is the Spice Girls. Yeah. It was like that with the Stones too early on, but when you hit the 70s, I can just imagine Keith Richards up there in some goofy outfit playing the "Give Me Shelter" riff, and Mick Jagger in a coat with sleeves that hang all the way down here, just "Ooh, the storm is shaking," or the entire audience I know there's a what song is it? There's a Rolling Stones song. Or I don't know. I guess the whole audience singing "You can't always get what you want."
Oh yeah, I feel like after Brian Jones passed away, and when Mick Taylor honestly, as an instrument player, I feel like Brian Jones is just a lot more talented than Mick Taylor as just an instrument player. People say that Brian Jones didn't like the direction that they're going in, but it's actually Brian Jones was the one who actually liked the direction that they were going. He wasn't sure at how he would adapt to the pop scene, but he played the sitar, he played all the brass instruments on Between the Buttons. He was just very versatile. But Mick Taylor, to me, is just a better guitar player. I don't think in my opinion, I don't think Brian Jones could. I mean, I know The Last Time's a great riff, but I don't think any riff could come close
Well,
to being.
considering that Brian Jones in the later half of his career with the Stones pretty much was like, I'm just going to play everything else on this album but the guitar, and we'll let Keith play the guitar because he got tired of playing the guitar. That just kind of shows.
I don't think like riffs like Brown Sugar, Sway, Can You Hear Me Knocking? I mean, those three riffs from the Sticky Fingers album right away. It's just Mick Taylor was just a talented guitar player. I don't think as a guitar player, I don't think any other Stones member could come close to him.
Yeah.
A little part of me didn't want to listen to the Stones after It's Only Rock and Roll just for that fact, because I don't know how they were able to continue without him. Like with Brian Jones, I
As a
get
Keith
it.
Richards.
Keith Richards is a good guitar player. I mean, he did some iconic riffs like Can't Get No Satisfaction, but I think Mick Taylor was just so good. There was a track on It's Only Rock and Roll. Let me look up the track before I get it wrong.
Reprint file.
Time Waits for No One. He played the guitar so well that he wanted song credits, which I totally get that because sometimes, like he wrote, I think it was him that made that guitar part and he wanted songwriting credits, and Jaggers and Richards were stubborn on that. But yeah, it's just I like Ron Wood. He's a good guitar player, but I don't think they were quite the same guitar wise when Taylor left.
I thought Ronnie Wood was their saxophone player.
Yeah.
I will say Charlie Watts and Bill Wyman do a really good job of keeping the groove.
They do.
Even on some of the bad songs, I was noticing that their groove was so good.
There are a couple of bad songs that the Rolling Stones made, like songs that I like openly hate, like that I'm like, why does this exist? One of them is their cover on Walking the Dog with Brian Jones on backing vocals. That's just abysmal. It's so bad. I'm like, please don't ever do backing vocals again. I mean, you know what's crazy? He actually does do backing vocals again on Ruby Tuesday, which is interesting. He actually co-wrote that song too. I don't think he ever had it's not that I don't think he never had a song that he wrote for the Rolling Stones, which is interesting. He was like their main leader for the longest time in the early stages. He was like he was their co-founder, so surprised he didn't even think of writing a song. But Stones aside, I do want to show off these albums that Scott bought me.
Oh, yes.
I need to. First off, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe.
Don't worry, Jason. You're not getting that one.
I'd say Briar got that.
One. Nick got that one. Don't worry. You're not going to get that one.
Okay, I haven't listened to enough of them.
I got you 2 records that you've said you've wanted for your collection for a while.
Okay. I got a package today. I'm guessing it's from you because.
Oh. Yo, what if you opened it on this stream?
I don't know who else it would be. It has somebody else's name on it, but it seems like every time I get something from you, it doesn't have your name on it. So.
Oh, it's because I bought it from an eBay seller.
You want to open up that package here, Jason, or do you want to open it up on your own channel?
I don't know. I'm saving it for my Christmas gift thing.
That makes sense. iRobot.
I have something from Briar and I have something from Scott, I believe. So
I need to send. I'll send you a late gift.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love this album. This is my favorite album by them.
Who's that?
Alan Parsons.
That's Alan Parsons' second out. So those are his first 2 albums.
Oh yeah, his first 2. Okay.
And then this is my second favorite by them.
I love this one, or I love all 3 of them, but still.
Eye in the Sky.
Eye in the Sky.
I love
Do-do-do. There are shadows surrounding me.
Old and Wise,
Do-do-do.
one of my favorite songs by them.
Yeah.
That song
I think
so
that
good.
is my favorite song by them. Old and
Really?
Wise. It's got that album has my 3 favorite songs by them. Eye in the Sky, Old and Wise, and Silence and I are my 3 favorites by them.
I feel like the album, it starts with Eye in the Sky, which is my favorite song on the album, which is a very unique song. I've never heard anybody, it just sounds different from anything else I've ever heard from. It's such a unique song. And then the rest of the album doesn't really follow that. It's, if I remember right. And so it's like, man, I'm so excited. And then when I listen to other songs, I'm like, what? This doesn't seem like the same band. Like, I don't know if they have different singers, different writers.
Because they get different singers for every song.
That's what I thought. I was like, man, why can't they? Whatever they did with this song, they need to keep doing it. And
the singer on Eye in the Sky does sing another song on that album, though. It's Silence and I, which is my 3rd favorite song on the album.
Yeah, and so I was kind of weirded out by that album, going like, what is going on here? This does not sound like the same album throughout the thing. And then you get to the last song, and the last song was my 2nd favorite song on the album.
I love Wise.
So I was like, wow, those are 2 really good songs, but everything in between was just a mess to me. I don't know, not a mess maybe, but just it wasn't as good. And so it's just like, wow, I wish there was more consistency, or it sounded more like
I am following in Jason's footsteps this next year, and I also inspired from Nick. I'm gonna do my top 100 favorite albums of all time.
All right.
And so, in order to do that, I'm gonna make it my top 100 favorite albums in my record collection to make it easier.
That's a good idea.
And so to do that, I have to rank every one of my albums in my record collection on a scale of 1 to 10. And then sort like, okay, now I got to rank the 10s. I have to rank the 9s, the 8s, the 7s.
Yeah.
And then that's how I'm going to choose my 100 favorites. And Eye in the Sky is one of the only albums that I've given a 10.
Oh.
You can probably guess some of the other ones, but
I'm obviously Rush's debut album. Obviously.
Rush's debut.
Oh yeah, Snakes and Arrows, definitely.
Yeah.
And
who the hell is listening to Moving Pictures? That album is garbage.
Overrated.
Probably Permanent Waves. What? I'd rather be listening to Test for Echo.
Yeah.
That Farewell to Kings album. I'd rather be listening to Presto.
Oh yeah, Presto. Man, that's
album.
It's a classic in their discography.
The album that I literally listened to twice, but don't remember a second from it.
I listened to it once, and that's all I needed to.
Yeah.
I remember very little about that album. I remember there's some okay stuff on it, but I'm just like, why would I want to listen to this where there's other Rush albums that I'd much rather be listening to every time I hear this?
That's just weird when you go through a discography and it's like you feel like a lot of times you start off and you're like, okay, they're trying to find their sound probably, or something. Sometimes they're pretty good from the beginning, but sometimes it's like maybe they're trying to find their sound, and then all of a sudden they hit this peak where they're like, man, they're on fire. They got like a bunch of albums in a row where they're like, they found like what really works for them, and then it goes down for me sometimes on people's discography where I'm like, oh, now they're not that good anymore. And I still got like more albums to listen to, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna have any kind of upswing or.
It was like that. It was like that. It was like that for the Zombies, except they only had the one album.
Well, yeah, Zombies. Yeah,
that's what upsets me. That's what's so sad is they had finding their sound on their first album, which, besides the originals on that album, it's not that good. And then there's Odyssey and Oracle, one of the greatest albums of all time.
No one told me about her.
I just told this to Scott. It's my 10th favorite album of all time, probably. I don't know if it's there still. I still need to rank more. I still need to look at albums that I haven't really ranked yet. But it's one of the greatest.
Rolling Stones, that peak was like that Beggar's Banquet to me, anyways. Like Beggar's Banquet to, I don't know.
To Sticky Fingers, I assume.
At least, yeah, Sticky Fingers or whatever. I forget all of them.
Because
Tattoo, rock and
that's what
roll.
most Stones fans consider to be their.
I would extend it a bit and go to
Yeah.
Aftermath to Sticky Fingers.
I would say you'd probably go Aftermath too, but
And
it's
I
like,
don't know why
that's
I like
like-
Between the Buttons so much. Like that
Yeah.
that album is like the black sheep in the Rolling Stones discography because it sounds nothing like the Stones.
Well, there is a black sheep in their discography that a lot of people hate that I really like.
Oh,
It's called Their
we're
Satanic.
not going to talk about that one though.
I like that album though. It's
Henceforth from here on, I'm going to call that album by its original title, The Rolling Stones Cosmic Christmas.
yeah.
That was supposed to be the name of the album until Mick Jagger came up with a pun based off of a passport. But he wanted to be edgy, and it's like, come on, man.
Honestly, though, my opinion on the album name, it sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It didn't even have anything to do with the album either. It's just Mick Jagger being edgy again.
I mean, Go Ahead Soup is a weird title.
They have some of the They have some of the best album names, but then they have some of the worst album names.
There was one album to me was like the worst cover I've ever seen on an album.
Oh, Undercover.
Undercover. I hated that cover.
That's so terrible.
I don't like Sticky Fingers either. I think that's the one that's kind
of
with
Mick Jagger's crotch roll.
Yeah,
right. And he can pull his zipper down.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a little much, I think.
Yeah.
That's just.
I'll give you my opinions on all the album covers. All the UK album covers.
Hackney Diamonds might be the best cover, actually.
Hackney Diamonds is a good cover. I like the Beggar's Banquet cover. It's them early in the morning with like Vaseline smudged on the lens, and it looks blurry and psychedelic. And I like the simplicity of the Beggar's Banquet cover. Let It Bleed is kind of a weird cover.
The cake?
The record tire cake. I don't know what's up with
that. Yeah.
Exile on Main Street is weird. It's like a bunch of random pictures.
Yeah.
It's Only Rock and Roll is kind of an interesting album cover. It's just like them and a bunch of fans following them around or whatever. Probably their most creative album cover was probably Some Girls, but they got sued over that one for using famous actresses' images. One of the girls' faces is actually George Harrison on the front of that cover.
What's that?
Some Girls. One of the images that looks like a girl on the front is actually an edited picture of George Harrison on the front. And then there's also one of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards.
I didn't know that. That's cool to know.
I mean, Beggar's Banquet to Exile on Main Street is probably their most famous lineup of albums. And Some Girls has one of my favorite songs on it, Beast of Burden. But
I love Beast of Burden.
Yeah, it's so good. And and they probably, I think you say up to Tattoo You, then they kind of start going downhill. I think is what you told me.
I haven't even listened to anything after that.
I like a couple of their later ones, but most of the later ones are just really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I thought the last one was my least favorite. It was just too bluesy.
Oh, none of the songs on there are originals. They go back to what they were doing in the '60s blues covers.
Okay, yeah, because I thought it was definitely like the weakest album of the group.
Their most overrated album, in my opinion.
At all. It's just a bunch of bluesy songs. It's like, wow, this doesn't feel anything like what they did before. It felt too much.
I think it's their most overrated album. It's too many Stone fans like that album. Like, it's,
really?
Yeah, it's a fan favorite amongst
the most overrated Stones album is Exile on Main Street.
Yeah, you guys have the hot takes for once. You guys are the ones.
If you're gonna make, here's the thing: if you're gonna make a double album, you have to merit its double album length.
Right.
Because if not, it's just gonna look like you threw a bunch of extra songs on there just to get more money for making a bigger album.
That's what I felt with the White Album too, though. There's like too many songs on that album. Like I don't need to listen to 8 minutes of nonsense.
Yeah, I have no idea what they were thinking with that one.
It's not they. It was John Lennon.
They had
Number 9.
a little too power hungry, I guess. And
Okay. My opinion on all the Rolling Stones album covers. And I'll give a brief on the albums because why not? Rolling Stones, pretty generic cover.
Yeah.
Weird that they don't have their name on the album cover because this is literally their debut and no one's going to know what they are just by looking at the cover. Like, unless
you're not Led Zeppelin where you can release a picture of a guy with some sticks and everyone will buy your album.
Yeah. The album itself, it's okay.
I feel like all the album covers are just pictures of people. I don't know. At some point, they kind of decided, let's get a little more artistic with these album covers. And
then they got too artistic with the album covers.
Here's Rolling Stone's second album cover. I think it's a little better.
Look like the first one. Yeah.
You can tell that Out of Our Heads came from that session too.
Yeah. I prefer the album Out of Our Heads US version, but you know. Yeah, really good album cover. I like it. I like simplicity. Sometimes I just like seeing the bands.
Oh, really?
I like that one, but I'm used to seeing that on December's Children.
December's Children has like a white hue to it, but like for the Out of Our Heads UK version, it's green.
Huh. Interesting.
I'll show the comparison.
Hey, you get off of my cloud. That's I can hear that picture. I hear get off of my cloud every time I see that picture.
See how it's like
white? That one.
Oh, December's Children.
Yeah, I see that and I hear get off of my cloud in my head.
It's whitish on this version, but how this looks like more greenish. Sounds like this is green and this is like white.
I don't think I ever noticed that before.
I like the UK Out of Our Heads. I think it's a really good album, but without the hits, it's not the same. In a Perfect World, there are some good deep cuts from that album. She Said Yeah. It would end up being on December's Children. She Said Yeah, but in My Perfect Universe, She Said Yeah, and what's it? She Said Yeah. And there's also some songs from December's Children I would want
Talking about you.
That's a good song, but in My Perfect Universe, She Said Yeah, As Years Go By, Get Out of Our Cloud, and Heart of Stone. Those 4 songs are on the Out of Our Heads, including the 3 great songs on it too.
Man.
Satisfaction.
Years Go By is so good. I think it was either that. No, it was Ruby Tuesday. I was getting it wrong about it. The first time I heard Ruby Tuesday was on that Beatles versus Rolling Stones live stream. Somebody had suggested it Ruby Tuesday, and I never heard it before. I'm like, what?
Oh, really?
This is the Stones? Like the Stones do Baroque pop? And that kind of made me listen to the Stones albums, and that's kind of why I got into the Aftermath album. Like I called it Edgy Pet Sounds just because of some of the production choices.
I love this album cover.
That's a great album cover.
This will always be my favorite Stones album. This version specifically, I love this version. Of course, In a Perfect World, Painted Black, and 19th Nervous Breakdown are on this album, but we live in a world where those 2 songs aren't on this.
We live in a world where Going Home has to be 10 minutes long.
I know. I personally love the song. I love that. I don't mind the length, but I don't know.
Could have put more songs on there.
Yeah. They literally made Ride On Baby and Sitting on a Fence.
Yeah, they could have put those on there.
Here's an iconic album cover. Well, at least for me it is.
That's my favorite one. That's my favorite Stones album cover.
Some people hate this album cover, and I don't get it.
I also think it's kind of funny how Charlie Watts' buttons says between the buttons on them.
Yeah. I love Jagger's face on it, though. It's just like, they all just look so tired, especially Jones.
I'd say it gives me a Rubber Soul vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
They're wearing jackets or something.
I was thinking of doing a Rolling Stones Aftermath versus Rubber Soul at some point.
Hmm.
Track versus track, since they both have 14 tracks. Actually, well, I would rank all the songs, but that's because it's the original track listing.
I wouldn't mind if I knew what I was missing. I better stop singing that, or I'm gonna get. You won't see me. Melody found at this point in the video. Like, it's not even the official song. I'm just singing it.
Okay. Okay. I got Rubber Soul.
Rubber Soul.
Okay. I'm gonna try to be as non-biased as possible with this.
Okay.
Because I have a bias, obviously, a little bit.
But if you don't include "Let's Spend the Night Together" or "Ruby Tuesday," then Rubber Soul. Oh, it's Aftermath. Never mind.
Aftermath.
Oh, that's going to be pretty difficult.
Since they both have 14 tracks on it. Well, I could do Revolver versus Between the Buttons. Remove a track from Between the Buttons.
Between the Buttons.
I'm going to do that, yeah.
Just know that if you put Sgt. Pepper against the Cosmic Christmas, that it's going to be very heavily influenced one way if I did that.
I'm not going to do that because, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to lose subscribers. I guarantee I would lose at least 2 subscribers just for that. Okay, Aftermath.
You go running for the shelter of a mother's little helper. Things are different today. I heard every mother say.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to make the battle fair. I'm still going to do a Revolver versus Between the Buttons.
Can we also add a 15th track? We Can Work It Out versus Paint It Black.
Yeah. But I'm going to make it more fair, guys. I'm going to do Revolver versus Aftermath because I just realized if I did Aftermath versus Revolver, it would be a little unfair. I'm going to do my favorite Beatles album versus my favorite Stones album. Not only that, but Revolver is also released the same year, so I feel like
66.
Revolver doesn't have a bad song on it.
Well, Dr. Robert is not as good, but I'm going to call it a bad song.
I really like that song, but everybody.
Dr. Robert, it's fun. I'm grown. It's grown on me.
Okay.
You want to know what's funny? Is that my roommate? He has the Yesterday and Today album, and it has like the fake stereo version of Dr. Robert on there. And it was so funny because I'm like, man, Dr. Robert be hitting different in fake stereo. I don't know what it was about it, but
interesting. Okay,
I don't know why it sounded so. I was just grooving with it.
Aftermath versus Revolver, both 14 tracks. First battle right away.
Painted Black versus Paperback Writer too. That's the 15th track.
Okay, Painted Black versus Paperback Writer. Okay. I'll rather go with Rain because I feel like Painted Black is better. Okay, Mother's Little Helper versus Taxman. Oh man,
I'm gonna go with Taxman, but I like both of them.
Oh. Come on, Beatles. Why do you have to make this difficult for me?
Oh, Taxman's awesome.
Go with the Beatles.
George Harrison.
One of the best guitar riffs.
And that Indian-inspired guitar solo that Paul McCartney plays on there. I used to play that song on the Beatles Rock Band. I could never get the guitar solo down just because of how tricky it is.
Yeah.
As a whole, I like Aftermath better, but I think Taxman's better than anything off of Aftermath.
That's so good. It's satirical. I like the lyrics.
Oh yeah. If you drive a car, I tax the street. If you try to sit, I'll tax your seat.
Next battle. I feel like the next battle is also kind of easy. Stupid Girl versus Eleanor Rigby.
Oh boy, I wonder which of these is going to win.
Even as a Stones fan, I have to give it to Revolver. The lyrics, the musicianship.
I saw a poll on YouTube that was like, what's the best Beatles song lyrically?
Yeah.
And everyone was picking A Day in the Life, and I'm like, it's Eleanor Rigby. Like, musically, A Day in the Life is amazing, but it's just like, I read the news. Here's what's going on in the world. Like Eleanor Rigby is super deep. If you take out the orchestra and the amazing melody, you still got these amazing lyrics. I'm like, why is Eleanor Rigby not winning this?
I picked Eleanor Rigby as well.
Yeah, Eleanor Rigby.
That's my favorite, probably lyrical song. Yeah, of the Beatles. It's so good.
And then they had "In My Life" on there as well. That would probably.
"In My Life" is good too. But yeah.
See, guys. I'm not being biased.
Okay.
Revolver's winning so far, which is a surprise to me. Because Aftermath's in my top 20 albums of all time. So, and Revolver isn't even in my top 100. So, Lady Jane versus I'm Always Sleeping.
Okay, this is my first point for the Stones. I like Lady Jane. Or do I?
Revolver.
Those are both.
Revolver
That's
still
a
winning. I'm giving it to Revolver.
You know what? Never mind. I'm going with the Beatles again because of the backwards guitars. Lady Jane doesn't have that.
I'm giving it to the.
I want to give them a point for Under My Thumb at least. But what's it going up against?
Under My Thumb, 22. Oh no, that's easy.
Yeah, that Under My Thumb is better.
What? Well, between what?
Love You Too, the George Harrison, his first Indian song, and Under My Thumb. I think George Harrison, when it comes to his Indian songs, Within You Without You is a lot better. So I'm gonna go with Under My Thumb.
Yeah, I like Love You Too. It's not one of the strongest songs on the album. I still like it, but
Don't You Bother Me versus Here, There, and Everywhere.
The most romantic
Stones.
What do you
I've
think?
heard Here, There, and Everywhere. I've heard Here, There, and Everywhere on the Sirius XM channel one too many times. None of that, but I don't know. It's supposed to be McCartney's answer to God Only Knows, and I don't think it's nearly as good as that song.
I would probably agree with that statement. Like, God Only Knows is a lot better.
Even all three of the members of Taste Like Music, well, two members now agreed that they say it's the greatest song of all time. So
God Only Knows.
Yeah, objectively, I think it is. It's just
not going to disagree with that statement.
Pet Sound, compare that to Revolver or something like that. That would be a good battle.
Yeah.
Okay. Going Home versus easy battle again for me. I'm going Home. I'm not. No.
What's the other one? Oh, Yellow Submarine. I'm going to go with Yellow Submarine though.
I'm going Home. I'm going with Yellow Submarine. It's a child song. I'm not listening to a child song. Flight 505 versus that's another easy one. She said. That was an easy one.
Stone's only got 1 point for Under My Thumb so far.
I got 3 points on them. High and Dry versus Good Day Sunshine. That's another easy one. Aftermath. Much prefer High and Dry. This is another easy one. For me, that is. Out of Time versus And Your Bird Can Sing. And Your Bird Can Sing is a great song, but against Out of Time, that's just.
Oh man.
Sorry, Beatles. Sorry.
One of my favorite guitar riffs.
The Beatles are winning 13-1 for me.
Well, I don't know the other album that well, so I can't really.
I've heard it. It like Aftermath is my. Look, this ain't something because Aftermath's my favorite Stones album. Revolver's not even my favorite Beatles album, and it's still like almost skunking my favorite Stones album.
Yeah.
It's easy versus that's an easy battle. For No One, Revolver.
Yeah. Man, putting a French horn solo in your song.
That's just beautiful.
That's one of my favorite songs on Revolver.
Oh, it's a great song.
I love that one.
Because it's not easy. It's one of my favorite Stones songs from this period. It's just I don't know. I don't know how that could compete, even come close to being as good as For No One. Maybe if I rank the songs, it would be a lot more fair. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I don't know. It takes a little long for me to think about though. Okay, this one's easy. I'm Waiting versus Dr. Robert. For me, it's easy. I'm going with Aftermath. ESPN.
Da-da-do,
I know. I was like, what?
Take It or Leave It versus I Want to Tell You. I want to tell you. Going with the Stones.
I want to tell you, it's kind of a hidden gem song. I think it's not talked about very much, but it's still a really solid song on the album.
I love Take It or Leave It. Think versus Got to Get You Into My Life. Yet another easy choice for me. The Aftermath. What to Do versus Tomorrow Never Knows. Objectively, Tomorrow Never Knows is way better, but personally, I'd rather listen to the Stones track.
Oh, we got a big 13-1. The Stones won one battle for Under My Thumb.
The Beatles won 5. You know,
Under My Thumb is the best song on the album. So
Aftermath won 9-5, but those 5 that the Beatles won were well deserved, in my opinion. Of course. Oh yeah, one more battle. Rain versus Painted Black.
I would give that one. I would give that one to the Stones.
yeah,
I would give it to the Beatles. I think Rain is one of their best songs.
Really. That's one of the times where I'm actually saying the Stones song is better than the Beatles song.
yeah. I mean, I still really like Rain though, but Painted Black is one of the stronger Stone songs.
If we did Paperback Writer versus Painted Black, I'd pick Painted Black any day.
Really?
Yeah, I love Paperback Writer. I think that would have been a much well-deserved, needed placement on the album instead of
Number 1 single, I think.
much better than that Submarine.
Okay.
I like Yellow Submarine. I know it's like a kid song, but it's still
It reminds me of when I was first getting into the Beatles and I
Yeah.
was around singing that song.
still a fun song, and like I heard Ringo sing it live, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh wow. Also, like just hearing John Lennon be John Lennon in the
Yeah.
middle of that song. In Ice all we need. Sky blue, a sea of green. You know, yellow, a green.
Okay, so
Captain, cut the cable.
He was having
All right.
okay, next battle. Gonna go with the mighty Revolver. Gonna go with big R on that versus the big PS Pet Sounds.
Oh boy, this. Okay, now here's a battle.
Okay.
Here is a battle. These are the 2 albums that I can't decide which is my favorite album of '66.
For me, my favorite album of '66 is Aftermath, but these 2 albums are really great on their own right. I don't think either of these are on my top 5. The ones that we're battling. I'm gonna remove. Well, I'm just gonna go out and say it. I'm gonna remove one track from each side. You guys can guess, or telling by what I was talking about, you could guess which one I'm getting rid of on side 1. Side 2,
Dr. Robert.
Dr. Robert. I was either thinking Dr. Robert or Got to Get You Into My Life because
No, that's my favorite song on the album, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Oh, really?
Oh, you don't have to be afraid of it. It's a popular song by them. It's not like
it also kind of jump started the career for Chicago, so
that
they used to cover that song.
That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if you said Dr. Robert was your favorite from Revolver,
No,
I'd be like, really, Scott? that would be the one that you could say that.
that would be my hot take.
Yeah. But Got to Get You Into My Life isn't really a hot take if you say that. I mean, comparatively to Taxman, Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, wait. It's my second favorite. Man, Eleanor Rigby is too good not to be my favorite on the album.
Yeah. That's better. Taxman versus Wouldn't It Be Nice?
Why would you do that to me?
Man, that's a hard one.
Revolver.
Okay.
You guys could think about that. I think Taxman's way better.
Man, I don't know. They're both so good.
I think Taxman is one of the greatest songs of all time.
I really hate to say this. I really do.
I I think "Wouldn't It Be Nice" is a really good song, but I think "Taxman" is one of the greatest songs of all time.
Both of these are fantastic, but I'm gonna go just by that much with "Wouldn't It Be Nice."
I think I'm gonna go with "Wouldn't It Be Nice." Yeah, it's one of the best Beach Boys songs.
You guys serious? I'm like the least Beatle fan out of the three of us, and I think Taxman's way better.
It's okay. Let me tell you something. Pet Sounds is a very personal album for me. All right, like I discovered it in 2020. Okay, and like it just hit something, you know.
Pet Sounds is personal to me too. Don't get me wrong, but Taxman's just I don't know. Taxman's better. That's one of the few times you'll ever see.
That is odd that you picked the Beatles song and Jason and I didn't. That is kind of odd.
Well, I much prefer the Beatles over the Beach Boys. I just think the Beach Boys were good at their time, but I just think the Beatles. I don't know. Even Pet Sounds, I feel like the Beatles were.
Just don't say "Strawberry Fields" versus "Good Vibrations," or we're gonna have a real.
Oh my god.
That's another song I think "Strawberry Fields" is better. I even think I think Penny Lane's better than all. I think Penny Lane's better than both songs. Penny Lane. Well, as you said with Pet Sounds, I think Penny Lane is just a very personal song to me. That song's just so much memories of just riding in the car, going to the New York Ranger game. Well, as you can see, I'm a Ranger fan, but yeah, just good memories of Penny Lane. Having that said, Eleanor Rigby versus Don't Talk, Put My Hand on My Shoulder.
You still believe
in me. You still believe in me.
I'm going with Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah, I go with Eleanor Rigby.
But playing the inside strings of a piano with a bobby pin and putting a bicycle horn in your song was unheard of in 1966. So I'll at least give credit where credit's due on that one.
I'm actually going to go with Pet Sounds on this one.
Really?
I love the beginning part where Brian Wilson is just like, ooh. Yeah. That's.
No, that was still difficult for me because I love that song.
Like I said, lyrically, Eleanor Rigby's way better, but it just goes down to preference at that point. What's the third track on Pet Sounds again? I've listened to that album so long.
That's Not Me.
That's Not Me. Okay, I haven't heard that album in so long. Oh, I gotta listen to that album again because it might end up on my top 100.
It's good.
That's Not Me versus I'm Always Sleeping.
Oh,
going with the Beatles.
I'm gonna go with the Beatles.
I love that song.
That's such an interesting song with the backwards guitar solos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just remember Pet Sounds has 13 tracks. So
just take off Dr. Robert.
I'm taking off. Well, since you guys are participating, I'm gonna get rid of Dr. Robert. I would have went Yellow Submarine if it was just me. Love You Too versus Don't Talk.
Waiting for the day when you can.
Don't Talk, Put My Hand on My Shoulders. That's the fourth track.
The fourth track is I'm Waiting for the Day.
No, that's the fifth track.
Yeah.
Is this?
Even I knew that, and I haven't listened to Pet Sounds in years.
Oh boy, well, it shows how much I know.
Yeah, Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulders is the fourth one here.
Okay, that's winning.
Yeah, I'll go with the Beach Boys.
That's definitely winning.
I know, that's a different song. Yeah,
I know.
I know that's the song I thought it was when I saw the track listing, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool cover.
That's a good song though.
Here, There, and Everywhere, ironically, a Pet Sounds inspired song.
Yeah.
Is a Pet Sounds song. I'm waiting for the day.
I'm actually going to go with I'm Waiting for the Day, if you can believe that or not.
Wow. Yeah.
I love the timpani. Boom, 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 boom,
as a whole, Here, There, and Everywhere is better, but that one part just puts I'm Waiting for the Day over the top.
Just the drumming at the beginning just it just hypes me up for the rest of the song.
Yeah, that's good.
I prefer the version Mike Love thinks. This is an easy choice for me. Yellow Submarine versus Let's Go Away for a While.
I
Let's Go Away
am going with Let's Go Away for a While. It's a very amazing instrumental song.
Yeah, to me, it's just way better. Yeah.
I don't know. I might go with Yellow Submarine on that.
That's all right.
I was gonna joke around saying like it's alright to be wrong once in a while as a joke, but
What's interesting is that "Let's Go Away for a While" is one of the only Beach Boys songs that's not really a Beach Boys song.
oh, it's a Wrecking Crew song, definitely.
Yeah, I mean Brian orchestrated it, but the Beach Boys played on it.
Yeah, they should have put parentheses the Wrecking Crew or something. Here's another easy choice for me. She Said versus Sloop John B. I'm going with She Said.
Boy, I'm gonna go with She Said, but I do like both of those songs.
How to go Sloop John B.
That's a fun song.
Ah, so good.
I love the music video for it though, where they're like,
yeah,
they got the inflatable raft in the pool.
Yeah, that's so good.
Okay, if you guys say anything other, if you guys pick the Beatle track, I'm gonna be questioning everything.
Well, no.
Sunshine versus God Only Knows. Come on.
Oh yeah, God only knows when.
Okay.
You're telling me that ooey gooey sunshiny.
I like Good Day Sunshine, but it's nowhere near God Only Knows.
Yeah, you can't tell me. No one can tell me with a straight face that they prefer that.
Yeah, Good Day Sunshine is good. God only knows would be any song on the Revolver.
It'd honestly be most any song. Period.
Well,
yeah, it's
my hot take is that I prefer Taxman over it because I think Taxman is one.
No,
wow,
I like Taxman, but not that much.
I love Taxman. I love Taxman.
I mean, like, there's a very few select songs that I think are better than God Only Knows, and there's not that many of them.
The only I can think of like four. I can only think of 3 songs that are better than Taxman. Well, 4 songs: Rael by The Who, Layla by Derek and the Dominoes.
Okay, that's a good song.
Teach Your Children by CSNY, and Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver. Those are the only 4 songs I can think of that are better than Taxman. I don't know. I've always loved Taxman. I love the guitar playing by McCartney. I love the weird counting. Like a great callback from Please Please Me. It's just I love Taxman. Andrew Perkins Sing versus I Know There's an Answer.
I'm gonna go with Andrew Perkins Sing.
I'm going with it used to be Hang On to Your Ego before Mike Love famously said, "Oh, is that a drug song?" For No One.
What you cooking up in there? Is that a drug song?
For No One versus Here Today.
Oh no, that's actually difficult.
Yeah, a Mike Love song actually having a chance to get actually possibly being better than a McCartney track. That's interesting.
It's because of that instrumental section with the bass. It's like boom, 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 and then there's like you like hear them talking in the background.
I'm going just by a hair.
I can't pick. I can't pick. Those are 2 of my favorite songs on both those respective albums.
Just by a hair, Scott.
I seriously cannot pick one of those.
Any other?
Gun to your head. No, just kidding.
What to pick?
The Sophie's choice for you.
Okay, let's go through the songs. Your day breaks, your mind aches. You won't regret her. It starts with just a little glance now. Right away, you think about romance now. Made me feel so bad. Made my heart feel sad. Made my days grow. Okay, Here Today is gonna win by just by a tiny bit.
I love these two. No Dr. Robert. I want to tell you versus it's so difficult. I just wasn't made for these times. I'm going with this one, though. That was a tough decision.
What was it again?
I just wasn't made for these times.
Versus what?
I want to tell you.
I want to tell you.
Oh, I'm going with I just wasn't made for these times.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I just was made for these times.
Okay, so I feel a little better now that you guys agree.
We all agreed on.
Why we could all agree. I was afraid for a second.
Well, that song is amazing.
Pet Sounds, the title track, versus Got to Get You Into My Life.
All right. Got to get you into my life.
One of the weaker songs in the album, I think. So I'll go with I Got to Get You Into My Life. But
I'm going with Pet Sounds. Caroline No versus Tomorrow Never Knows.
they both
Tomorrow Never Knows. Which means that the Beach Boys won, but only by 1 point. Oh, and you know what was the tipping point? Was Here Today over.
I'm going with Pet Sounds at the end. I prefer Caroline No.
Caroline Knows really one of my favorite songs in the album, but so is Tomorrow Never Knows. So I have to go with Knows,
I picked Tomorrow Never Knows because when it came out, there was nothing like that had ever been made.
Yeah, as you can see, Pet Sounds won.
Pet Sounds won by 1 point.
I'm going to rank the Revolver tracks. I'm going to rank the Rubber Soul tracks, and we could track versus track that, and kind of curious as to what you guys would think of my takes on what's the worst, the best on Revolver and Rubber Soul.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Beach Boys won 6. That means Revolver won by 1 for me, right? Yeah. I think
you guys could talk while I'm doing my ranking of Rubber Soul and Revolver.
I think I gave 7 to Revolver and 6 to the Beach Boys, so Revolver won by 1. That's good. I mean, you're talking about 2 top albums.
It's here today and it's gone. Tomorrow it's here and gone so fast.
But I mean, even the Revolver album songs that I went with Beach Boys, those were still really great songs. It was hard, yeah.
I keep looking for a place to fit in where I can speak my mind. I keep You say I got brains, but they ain't doing me no good. I wish they could. Each time things start to happen again, think I got something good going for myself. What goes on? Sometimes I feel very sad. Can't find no one I can put my heart and soul into. Da-da-da-da-da. I guess I just wasn't made for these times.
I think their hardest rock album in their discography with Taxman and And Your Bird Can Sing and Tomorrow Never Knows. I mean, it's most kind of hard psychedelic. Beach Boys, Pet Sounds is obviously just a really great pop album with great harmonies. So they're definitely 2 completely different type of albums. Interesting to
Yeah.
Depends on what you like more, maybe, but they're both.
I don't really get when people say like Pet Sounds is a very psychedelic album. Like they're definitely experimenting in the studio, but it's not exactly psychedelic rock. If you're gonna go with what's the first like psychedelic song, It'd probably have to be like 8 Miles High by the Byrds or something like that.
8 Miles High, See My Friends by the Kinks, and what's that other song I'm thinking of? Trying to think of Heart Full of Soul by the Yardbirds. Those are the first 3 psychedelic songs. And two of those 3 tracks were Indian inspired. They both See My Friends inspired song in pop culture music before Norwegian Wood.
Yeah, I mean, God Only Knows would beat anything. Yeah, on the Beatles side there. Sloop John B and Wouldn't Be Nice. That would beat just about any other song. But then on the other side, Eleanor Rigby would win just about every battle that it goes up against.
Yeah.
And Here, There, and Everywhere would win just about every battle. So there's a couple of those there that I'm like, For No One's great. Taxman's really great. I love that song.
Jason, what is your favorite song of all time? Do you know?
Oh, Stairway to Heaven.
I
mean, no, oh, wait a minute.
Or Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm not talking, I guess, with the Beatles, without the Beatles.
With the Beatles included.
Oh, sorry. I sometimes I think I always exclude the Beatles just because they dominate my list if I put them in. No, Yesterday's my favorite song of all time. Sorry.
Okay. That's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The top Beatles songs are my favorite of all time. Yesterday, Let It Be, In My Life would be right up there. Something.
Looking through you.
Hey Jude, those would be like my top songs all time. But then when I take them out, then it's Stairway to Heaven, God Only Knows, Bohemian Rhapsody, Vincent, are like at the top of my list.
Yeah.
Your folks seem different, but you have changed.
Oh, okay, Jason. It looks like both of your records came in.
Hold on.
Two that, right? I don't know who they're from, so I'm guessing they're from you. So.
Oh, those are the ones from me.
I look at them, I'm like, this must be Scott because I don't know who they.
And I know you're going to like what's in there because you've mentioned that you wanted both of these albums before.
Yeah, I got that. And I got one from Briar.
Come on.
So I've got 3 packages.
The word.
Say the word. You'll be
Okay, I finally finished ranking all the Rubber Soul tracks. It was pretty hard.
That's
Time
for me. I know number 1 is In My Life on Rubber Soul.
Okay, time for Revolver.
Number 2 is Nowhere Man. Man, I think Rubber Soul is John Lennon's best album. Although that album was kind of the first album where like Lennon and McCartney were both like right there with each other. Because like the earlier ones, you got lots of great John songs, and the later ones, you got lots of great Paul songs. And then Rubber Soul and Revolver, you got both of them.
Yeah, and then Sgt. Pepper's, it was more Paul heavy, I think, than John.
Yeah. At least John was, well, other than Good Morning, which is kind of stupid, but John writes Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Half of a Day in the Life.
Yeah.
Oh, and The Benefit of Mr. Kite. I really like that song.
I don't know if I want to love that track or if I want to hate that track. I don't know.
Then
it's more interesting when you know the production side behind it. That George Martin recorded a bunch of like carnival sounds, cut the tape up, threw them up in the air, and stitched them back together in random order, and that's the circus noises you hear.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
She said.
Yeah, Paul has some of my more mediocre songs on the album. I have to admit, though, with When I'm 64.
No, I love When I'm 64.
You better not say Lovely
Rita. And
I like Lovely Rita too. I used to not like that song, but I like it now.
yeah, they're just mediocre.
And I like I'm Fixing a Hole and I like what else is all on. There's a lot. Oh, She's Leaving Home is one of my favorite songs on the album.
That's so good. Yeah,
I love She's Leaving Home. That might be one. That might be in my top 10 Beatles songs.
Okay, yeah, it's really good. That's one on the album. Probably Behind a Day in the Life. Then probably She's Leaving Home. Maybe. Man, it's hard. Blue Sky Diamonds is good. Getting Better is good. A Little Help from My Friends is good. I mean, there's some real strong stuff.
Get by with a little help from my friends.
I'm not a fan of Benefit from Mr. Kite. That's not.
I like that one.
It's a little strange to me, but. And I know Nick loves the song. It's one of my least favorite. And that's Within You, Without You.
I think that's one of the best songs.
I didn't like that one at first either, but that one and Lovely Rita had to grow on me.
It's a couple minutes long of a song. I don't know.
I'm a George Harrison fan, so yeah.
Yeah, I am kind of upset that that's George's only song on the album.
His own song.
When you look at what was his other song would have been, Only a Northern Song. It's
he brought
only that would have ruined the Sgt. Pepper album for me because I really don't like that song.
Yeah, I think that's another great song. Like it's not good enough, and he comes up with Within You.
Like if you're gonna put anything else on that album, you need Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane.
Well, yeah, 100%.
For me, When I'm 64 was pointless compared to those two songs, and I'm not afraid to say that.
I think it's fun, and I'm going to be blasting it on my 64th birthday.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I got love you so far.
I mean, it's not a bad song. I don't know. It's just not as good as some of the other stuff on there.
Where do I rank that? Oh, I don't know which one I like better. Here, There, and Everywhere, and Your Bird Can Sing.
I like And Your Bird Can Sing better. It's the guitar riff.
Going with Here, There, and Everywhere.
When your bird is broken.
Well, I think like Eleanor Rigby, I want to say Here, There, and Everywhere. For No One, maybe. I know there's 3 or 4 of them that are like in my top 20 favorite Beatles song.
I can give you my top 5 on Revolver. I don't know if I can rank all of them.
Tomorrow. Okay, I'm ready. That took forever. I apologize. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of flipping back and forth. Okay, so my least favorite song from Rubber Soul, What Goes On, versus...
Run for Your Life?
Nope. My least favorite from Revolver, which is Yellow Submarine.
That's a good comparison there.
I wonder what they have in common.
I feel so bad for Ringo because he has some of my favorite songs.
Okay, With a Little Help from My Friends, Don't Pass Me By, Octopus's Garden, and Act Naturally. Those are like the big 4 for Ringo. Those are the 4 great Ringo songs. But then you've got like Honey Don't.
Yeah.
I'm going with Yellow Submarine.
It's terrible to me, but I don't know.
I'm going with Yellow Submarine because
I'd go.
Just straight up filler. In my opinion. One song that there's a bunch there's like 3 Beatle albums that I want to give a 10 out of 10 on, but both like What Goes On is like the deal breaker for me. Like I said, I have to keep going. I'm going to rip off the page. Okay. Yep. Rip off this page now. Okay. A lot easier now. Michelle versus Dr. Robert.
That's an easy one.
Yeah. I'm going with Rubber Soul. I'm Looking Through You versus Love You Too.
Mhm.
The
Man, look at
Through you.
Going with I'm Looking Through You.
great.
This might determine what my favorite Beatle album is as well.
I'm looking through.
I keep battling as to whether Rubber Soul or Revolver I like better.
Yeah.
Think for Yourself versus Got to Get Into My Life. Go with Think for Yourself.
That one I would give to Got to Get You Into My Life.
Uh,
And again, if I was to rank all of them, Got to Get You Into My Life would be much higher.
yeah.
Probably be going up something like Drive My Car or If I Needed Someone.
Speaking of that song, Drive My Car versus Good Day Sunshine. Going with Drive My Car.
Drive My Car.
Really good song.
I've
There's a lot.
always loved that song.
What?
I've always loved that song.
Yeah, there's like a lot of hate for that song. I'm like, I think that's a really fun song. And
Like the piano bum 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 and the
oh,
beep 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 yeah.
oh my gosh.
Wait versus Tomorrow Never Knows.
Tomorrow Never Knows.
I don't know, but Wait is, I think, an underrated song.
It's underrated.
Go with
It's-
Rubber Soul, man.
That chorus is really good. What?
The Word versus
Back to my-
What is the word up against?
And Your Birkin Sing.
Oh,
I'm going with not Rubber Soul, Revolver on that one.
that I would pick and your bird can sing.
I'd go with that, but
I like the word though.
Word's a good song too.
I like that.
You Won't See Me.
Ba-dum-ba-dum.
You Won't See Me versus Here, There, and Everywhere.
I would pick You Won't See Me.
It's cool.
There and everywhere, but You Won't See Me is really good though. That's
Ooh, I'm gonna get hate for this one. In My Life versus I'm Only Sleeping.
No,
I put In My Life. Most people would say that's too low. It should be the best song on Rubber Soul, and I don't care. I think 5 other songs I like better.
that was my third favorite song.
Sorry, Jason. I'm going with I'm Only Sleeping.
That's a good song though.
Run for Your Life.
Why is that so high?
That's like the what?
That's one of them.
You like that better than In My Life?
Yes, I do.
Oh my!
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You know I'm known for the hot takes.
In my
Well,
life,
let me tell you what I think about John Entwistle.
two life songs.
Run for Your Life. Number 5 over In My Life. Versus Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, Eleanor Rigby. It's not a contest.
I'm going with Run for Your Life.
Oh no!
Yeah.
The most controversial Beatles song.
It's such a fun song, though. It's much better than When I'm 64. That
It
song
needs
is
different
awful.
lyrics.
You're telling me you like it When I'm 64, but not Run for Your Life? I don't know.
Yes.
I can't agree with that.
I like the music for it. It's just the lyrics are.
The lyrics. Yeah.
It's like,
Norwegian,
oh,
Oh, that's
okay,
a little.
Norwegian
man with
Wood.
murderous intentions, huh?
Norwegian, Norwegian Wood, and your bird. The bird has flown versus I Want to Tell You.
Norwegian Wood. So good.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay, girl versus She Said. She Said.
You know, thinking about it, some of the Rubber Soul songs are a little odd. A man with murderous intentions for his cheating girlfriend. A man who burns a girl's house down just because she leaves him.
Yeah.
I'm going with girl.
And what was girl up against?
She Said.
She Said.
I'm gonna go with girl. I love that one.
Girl's really good though. I like that.
Is there anybody going to listen to my story?
Yeah.
All about the girl who came to say.
Nowhere Man versus For No One. I'm going with
Nowhere Man.
Nowhere Man is so good. For no one.
I have loved that song since the first time I heard it on the Red album.
So
Well, this
the
is
harmony.
This is an easy one for me. If I Needed Someone versus Taxman. Taxman.
Wow, two great George Harrison songs.
I love both songs.
Oh, Rubber Soul won 10-4. You know what? I have to say it. I think Rubber Soul's the best Beatles album.
I'm not going to disagree with that statement. There's too many good Beatles albums to pick which is your favorite.
Very good album.
There are valid arguments for each of them, unless
Yeah.
you're going to say it's Yellow Submarine
Yeah.
or Beatles for Sale.
Or with the Beatles for me, but yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Any other one? If you said any other Beatles album is your favorite, then you can make. There's.
I would say the top 9 are just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
A Hard Day's Night, for like most of those albums were my favorite at some point. Like A Hard Day's Night, freaking love Help.
Help. Yeah, so
Help is great, and I have the hardest time deciding whether I like A Hard Day's Night or Help better.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
I go with Help because it has some of their best songs.
I picked A Hard Day's Night just because Help has a few songs I'm not too crazy about, mainly Dizzy Miss Lizzie. And I don't really like You Like Me Too Much or Tell Me What You See really either.
Yeah, you're fine.
I love those songs.
But I do love I love I've Just Seen a Face.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs on that might be my second favorite song on Help after Yesterday.
I'm going to give you guys my Beatle ranking as of now. So, actually, never mind. I was going to suggest us do our Beatle ranking now, but
I'm fine. We don't need to do another video. We already got a video up on my channel, even though my ranking may change. I don't know though.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, me and Jason, I wanted to do a ranking video of the Beatles. I feel like I do. Besides those reviews, which I don't like at all, I feel like I was really shabby in those reviews. But besides those reviews I did, I feel like I don't do enough Beatle.
Oh, those Beatles reviews. To be fair, you were kind of just getting started with your YouTube videos then, so
yeah. With the Beatles, I want someone to review it with me, not like on my own.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
But this is the perfect opportunity to say that this video is actually the backdoor pilot for a new series coming in 2024. And I have decided to call it the Alan Parsons Project. Where Nick and I will review every Alan Parsons Project studio album, and then at the end we will rank them all. And I know Briar's at least going to be in the first episode. We'll see if he continues after that.
Briar likes does reviews, I think.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of series, I'm going to be starting. I mentioned this already on my channel, but Bob Dylan series.
Yes.
Looking forward to that one. Love Bob Dylan. Love me some Dylan. Oh man!
Tell me, great hero.
Well, I'm gonna continue talking about the Rolling Stones album covers because.
Okay.
We
go back to that one.
As you can see, as you were able to see, we sidetracked. Which, like I said, this is supposed to be a general topic, not a video topic. Obviously, there's the cool
lenticular.
There was the idea was to have like the whole album cover was going to be like this.
Yeah.
But since I stutter a lot. Since it would have costed too much to do that, they did this, which to me ruins the album cover. I don't know. I love it, but at the same time, I hate it because of that.
Apparently, Paul McCartney and John Lennon's faces are somewhere on that album.
It is. I'll pull out the static image of it because
without the moving picture. Oh yeah, there's the walrus right there.
There's Ringo.
Oh, there's Ringo.
There he is.
Finding Paul McCartney. Oh, found McCartney. Oh, I'm trying to. Can you see him?
No.
There's Harrison.
Oh,
Oh.
I see George. There
I
he
see.
is. Oh, I found him. Yeah, there they are. I wonder if they got caught back then, or if
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, there they are.
Well, the reason why they did that was because there was a doll on the Sgt. Pepper cover that says the Rolling Stones on it.
Oh yeah.
So they did that with the Beatles. Such a cool album cover for that. There's two different versions of this album cover. There's the one that we all know and love. Well, I wouldn't say all love, but
I don't. I get thrown off every time I see that.
then there's this version.
That's what I think of when I think of that album.
Oh, really?
When I see that toilet, I'm like, what album is? What Rolling Stones album is this? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very
I'm
good.
like, it's like if you play Street Fighting Man, guess what image is in my head? It's not the toilet.
For me, whenever I think of Sympathy for the Devil, I think of the toilet.
Ew.
I love there's oh yeah you're I think when I show you this you'll love it. Bob Dylan's Dreams down the toilet. He's like, keep in mind this was like the year break he took when before Nashville Skyline came out. It's like Bob Dylan's Dreams down the toilet.
Bob Dylan's 119th Dream or whatever that is.
Yeah, that's funny. Let It Bleed, on the other hand, one of the best album covers by them.
Yeah, we're talking about how weird it was or something.
Yeah, it's a record
The cake.
bicycle tire cake.
I love this album cover. It's a good album cover.
Honestly, thinking about it, I like the bookends, but I'm not actually too big on that album now that I'm thinking about it.
I really like the album.
I like a lot of the album. I like the stuff on side 2.
There's like 2 really good songs on the album, I think, if I remember right.
I love the album. It's a great album.
You can't always get what you want.
I will say the only 2 songs I'm not the biggest fan of is what's it called? Country Honk and
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve with that album is why would you not put Honky Tonk Women on that album?
for me, I'm not a fan of either song, either version, in my opinion, but and then there's Sticky Fingers, which I don't really like at all.
I don't like that one.
I know I'll get blasted by Stones fans for saying that, but I don't know.
That's a little too crude for me, but
Yeah.
I love this album cover because this album cover represents the album so well. The Exile album cover.
yeah.
It like what I love about this album is that like it's like it feels like I'm in the room with them when they're making this. I know that's like a usual thing that they say, but it feels like I'm in the room with them when they're making it. It feels like
Yeah. That's
Very
kind of what I
first-
like about the Let It Be album.
this album cover, never liked it.
Don't like this one.
No, that album cover is horrible.
Okay, yeah, I don't like that.
The music inside though more than makes up for it.
Couldn't have what would have made it better? Well, if you would have called the album Angie.
Yeah.
Or you could have called it Winter and had a wintry album cover.
Yeah. I like
I love
Winter.
this album cover. I love this album cover. Them being zombies.
Is that It's Only Rock and Roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Much better than the last album cover.
Yeah.
Ugh. Arguably the worst album cover coming up.
Oh no.
We got Black and Blue.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Especially with just this cutout.
Yeah.
They're not the best looking guys, so I don't know.
Vomit. With the close-up images.
Yeah, too
Ugh.
close.
I just do not get what the girls saw in them. Because
Yeah, I don't.
like talent, yes, but okay, that's probably their most creative album cover, even though they got sued over it.
Some girls, yeah, that's not bad.
Here's an album cover here's an album that I think the cover's awful, but the music is amazing. And Jason, this is a hot take that I really like from you.
No, I hate this album.
That's one of my favorite albums from them.
Welcome to your emotional rescue.
I think the album's much more than just that song. I love Indian Girl. Whip up the Indian Girl. I love that song.
I like Summer Romance. That's the one I like.
Oh, it's a great song. I love Dance. I love Where the Boys Go. I love She's So Cold. The song, this is a fun album. Well, I ranked all 24 albums of theirs, Jason, and this is my 5th favorite album of theirs. So there's that. Here's an album cover that's very iconic to me.
Yeah,
I like that one.
My dad owns this album. This is the first Stones album I've ever heard. He was like, we were listening to a Beatle album. My dad's like, you ever heard of the Rolling Stones? And I'm like, what? Hey, it's like, I'm gonna play an album from them. It's the Tattoo You. And then I heard the opening chords. It's just this album cover is so iconic.
Man, what an introduction to the Stones.
I know. Even though I prefer their more 60s stuff, that album cover and that album is just so iconic to me.
That's one of the better ones.
That is a piece of garbage.
I don't get this. That's terrible.
The album itself I like, but the album cover, I don't know. I feel like they were just trying to. I feel like
Put it away.
The audience was teenage boys.
It's hard to look.
Put it away. I guess they needed to do an opposite of Sticky Fingers.
It seems like Sticky Fingers and a bit, opposite.
There's Dirty Work.
Sticky Fingers for the girls and Undercover for the guys.
Right.
Dirty Work.
I like the color. It's a nice color.
Oh, yeah.
Fools do your dirty work.
This is like
the
original because it's like blue. I think it's better with the red, honestly. But you know what's funny is that this is like their least 80s sounding album, but like this is like their most 80s looking cover. That's the funny thing.
I don't want to do your dirty work.
Steel Wheels. This album cover caught my eyes when I first saw it.
Yeah, that's an interesting album cover.
Yeah, I like that one.
The album itself is okay. I was talking about that to Jason. I'm like it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's just okay.
I like that album.
You
I've
got that in my head now, Nick. Thank you very much. Just by saying the title of that album.
Dirty Work's in his head.
Oh yeah.
Steely Dan.
Lounge. This album cover is so interesting to me.
That is something, yeah.
Like a Banana Man?
Got horns or something, yeah.
Oh my god, I love this album cover. The album itself is so boring and there's like very little memorable song. Actually, no, that's that next album, but this album cover with the lion.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
I've always loved Bridges to Babylon.
Yeah.
This album, I think there's like nothing interesting on it. Bigger Bang.
I really like that album.
I think this album has I don't know. There's just like I listened to this album twice and I can barely remember anything off of it.
I don't want to do your dirty work.
There's an album where I can see why I'm not a fan of it. Blue and Lonesome. Good album cover, but the album itself is okay.
Using the Rolling logo.
Blue and Lonesome. And Hackney Down.
Here's a great album cover.
That's the best one, yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing your reaction to that album. I know. I think it's in my top 10. I'll say that.
Oh wow, is that good?
Yeah, I think it's the best album they've made since Voodoo Lounge.
Nice.
Well, there's another Stones album that like a pretty later Stones album that's in my top 10. That surprised me actually.
Emotional rescue.
If we weren't live on the air, I'd say my top 10 right now.
Emotional rescue.
For two of the five, well, besides Beggar's Banquet, my top 10 is, well, I don't know. I feel like my ranking is so controversial compared to most Stones fans.
And that's-
Most Stones fans have Exile as their best album.
well, it's like
about that.
it's like number 4 on the Rolling Stones, like 500 greatest albums, I think, or something like that.
Wow.
The Rolling Stone magazine picked a Rolling Stone album.
Yeah,
What a surprise.
They kind of changed everything up, and that one really got a big boost. While Sgt. Pepper's it got boosted big time from the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I'm still not happy about that.
Nah, I didn't like that ranking. Pet Sounds stayed at the same spot, number 2. So interesting enough, but then
that's good that that's still there.
Yeah, and then the Beatles stuff kind of went down a little bit. I think Abbey Roads is now the highest Beatle album on there, and that was I think that might have been like a top 10. Rumors was really high, if I remember right.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What's Going On, number 1? It's like, it's not my favorite.
I have an idea of why it's at number 1, but I'm not going to get into it.
Well, it was 2020. A lot was going on, right?
Yep. I'm just going to go. I'm not gonna go in depth on it, but it was more political than it was music.
Without getting into politics, I'm just gonna say if I'm gonna judge the music, I'm just gonna judge what's on the album rather than by who made it. So that we got stuff by Stevie Wonder, Stevie Nicks, and the Beatles, like all kinds of different people on there. But all people make great music.
I think Songs in the Key of Life is better than What's Going On. I think What's Going
Songs
On
in the Key of Life is a masterpiece of an album.
What's Going On is a
was that on the list?
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of Stevie Wonder albums are on my list.
I need to get some Stevie Wonder albums. I just keep forgetting that I need to buy them. Every time I see Songs in the Key of Life, it's always stupid expensive.
Oh really?
I hate when music artists like make their politics their personality, like Neil Young, for example.
Neil Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, his songs.
We want your music. Although, here's the thing. I saw something. Did Neil Young, was he the one who pulled his music, or did they pick Neil Young's music off because he was saying that he was upset about that? I don't know.
No, he pulled it off.
Okay.
That was his decision. Yeah.
Him and
Joe both did.
I was joking around with Jason the other day, like probably like a month or two ago. I'm like, because it was like Mr. Soul from Buffalo Springfield again, which that's a Neil Young song, basically. Whoa, Mr. Soul. There. I'm like, oh, Jason, don't tell Neil Young that song's still on there.
He might try to take it off.
Same with the two.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house.
Same with the two.
I love that song. Two cats in the yard.
Same with the two songs off of the first album, Buffalo Springfield, Burned and Out of My Mind. Those are also Neil Young sung tracks.
I guess he forgot he was a member of a band at one point.
Good. Let's not remind him, because I would.
But yet, what did he pull American Dream off? Because if he did, that means he's actually admitting to have worked on that album.
Oh, let's check.
He left it alone.
If he left it on there, that means he's trying to forget that exists. But if it's still on there, it means he admits that he worked on that album.
I swear to God, if American Dream songs are on there, but not Helpless, I'd be so mad. Same with Ohio.
Helpless.
Big Bird.
Big Bird flying in the sky.
They got rid of the tracks.
That means that Neil Young admits that he worked on that album.
Yeah, take them off. Yeah.
The album cover. What makes the album cover funny is that Neil Young wasn't even in the photo shoot. It had to be photoshopped in.
Really?
Yeah. Like after this album was made, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm out."
Right. Yeah.
I gave you what you wanted, Crosby. Now I'm out again.
Neil Young. Oh my goodness! In the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young review, whenever Breyer just left, like, okay, guys, I'm gonna go. Just ran away in the middle.
He really left, or at least his image.
His video went away.
You know, it would have been funny if you would have came back and you would have put in the flute, the beginning of the song with the flutes with the boo boo boo, and then Brian would have came back and would have been like, okay,
that would have been funny.
bum, bum, bum.
American Dream.
That song is so bad. Can't. Come on. There's a song called Shadowland, and it's just like it's like about Vietnam, and Graham Nash was like doing like a whole like Japanese thing, and I'm just like, come on, Graham Nash, what are you doing? What are you doing, Graham? Like he like I don't even want to play it. It's just so bad.
I think they even took off Crosby, Stills, and Nash albums at one point, but then they put them back on, I think. So I don't know what happened there, but they're like, we're going to make a stand, but they're like, well, never mind. We'll put it back on.
Just not with Neil Young.
Yeah, that kind of made me mad. Almost made me want to quit Spotify. So I was like, man, you're going to take some of the best albums ever off of there. Like, that made me mad.
Oh, yeah. If they got rid of the Who Sellout,
I was like, yeah, I thought if anybody else takes their albums that I really like off of that, I was like, I might have to quit Spotify. Like, this is a travesty.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, or the Beatles joined in, I'll be like, forget it. Like, I'll listen to music somewhere else.
Oh yeah, take my
me who laughs in my records.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just need to buy more physical media, so I don't have to worry about that.
Once I have all the albums I need, I'll never have to worry about listening to iTunes ever again. Besides when
I know, because Spotify, I use it so much, I can't get rid of it because I use it all the time for my channel and for other channels, and
mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm ever going to buy like every single album that I need on it. And there's always going to be new music that I haven't listened to that I need to listen to. So.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, how's the British Invasion debuts going?
Oh yeah, gosh.
I know you're close.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What did I listen to? I listened to some that were really good.
Ooh.
That's
good to hear.
I'm trying to think. Where did I have that list? I have all these lists everywhere to keep track of, but then I have like 3 different notebooks with stuff on it that I have to.
I will say this, Jason. I feel like I dumped a lot on you and Breyer.
Yeah, it's been hard to get through just because I have so much other stuff I'm listening to.
I know.
I'm like, oh yeah, I need to listen to another British album, whatever.
I'm so sorry about that. Like, I just realized, like a couple of days ago, I'm just like, oh man, I gave him too many albums. Oh man, I just.
And some of them aren't like really easily available on Spotify.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Peter and Gordon, really like that album.
Oh, that's a great album. I love that album.
That's one of my favorite albums I've listened to out of the list.
Yeah.
Jerry and the Pacemakers, really like that album.
Oh yeah, that's. I really like a lot. It's like a bunch of deep cuts on that album. A lot of great hidden gems.
And then Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders. I really like that album. Those were 3 that I listened to that was like, this is like top tier.
That's good to hear.
British Invasion.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, like that was before they because when they were going as Wayne Fontana as the Mindbenders, that was their original lead singer, and then when he left, that's when they made their really big hit off of That's Just the Mindbenders, which was Groovy Kind of Love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah, I remember you suggested that song on
Yeah,
that channel.
yeah,
Reactions
the
Classics.
classic. Yeah, because I did the Mindbenders versus Phil Collins version, which I love Phil Collins version too. So it was a pretty good battle.
That was a good battle. That was the first time I ever heard that. So
Oh, really?
off to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I never knew he did that. I never knew he did that. The only other version I knew was Sony and Cher's version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Billy
haven't watched.
and the Dakotas, Chad and Jeremy, the Nashville Teens, the Pretty Things, them, Spencer Davis Group, the Ivy League, and the Fortunes. So
Yeah. Like I said, you guys could take your time. Like you guys could take. You know what? You're the one who reminded me of it because you were like, "I'm ready for another album," and I'm like,
yeah.
oh yeah, we're still doing that.
Yeah, so I'm ready for some more albums because I've caught up with what I've gotten so far.
Cool. Yeah,
I've got 8 albums left on there.
I know. I forgot how much Briar needs, but you guys aren't that far off from each other,
Oh, okay.
which is good.
Yeah, problem is I forget all the other albums I've listened to, so I don't know how I'm gonna. Once I get everything kind of in some kind of order, then I'm gonna have to start listening to some of them again just to refresh my memory.
Akita and Golden.
I really like Hermit's debut.
Yeah, that was a good one. Hermits.
Yeah, we're doing well after we're done with the Kinks. We're doing that next. Hermits. They only had 6 albums, so
Yeah.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the Rise.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you like that album, Jason. The Animals.
Yeah, the Animals I liked. That was one of my favorite ones.
I still think Please Please Me and My Generation are the 2 best British Invasion albums in terms of debuts.
Yeah, those are like top 2, and then right after that is for me it's so far it's been the Animals, Jerry and the Pacemakers, like I said, Peter and Gordon, and Wayne Fontana, the Mindbenders. Those have been my probably top 5 so far, or whatever it is.
That's cool. Yeah, those are good. The only 2 there's some bluesy British Invasion debuts, like the Rolling Stones, them.
Yeah.
I saved you the bluesy ones for last.
But yeah, because I'm not that's sorry, but I'm not a fan of the Yardbirds. It's just not my type of music.
That's fair.
And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, the Yardbirds probably their favorite," and I'll be like, I'm not a big fan of that. You know the Fresh Cream, like I'm not a fan of that either. It's just too bluesy for me. I don't know.
I think it's a good album. For Cream standards, it's their weakest album, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's their weakest album.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the UK version or the US version?
I don't know.
Because we're going by the UK version, which doesn't have "I Feel Free."
Okay.
Well, on Spotify, it has both versions combined. It has the US and the UK tracking combined. So, yeah. I'll share screen on that. I want to get close to you. The Fresh Cream UK release. This one has Spoonful on it, and the US version has "I Feel Free" on it. Me personally, I prefer the one with "I Feel Free" on it, but I'm going with the one that came out first, which is the UK version. What's interesting about these debut albums that some of them is that the US version came out before the UK version, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like the US Yardbirds debut came out before the UK debut Yardbirds album.
Well,
that was an accident.
How can you get kicked out of your own stream?
I know it happens.
Yeah. Stevie Wonder, I've always wanted to complete my collection on the Stevie Wonder albums. I know it is possible.
I bet he has quite a bit.
It is many albums.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at this like YouTube video that showed like all the number one hit albums in the United States from like I forget when it started, probably sometime in the 50s or something. I don't know. Anyways, and it was I'm not through the whole thing, but it's so interesting when you get to the 60s and you get like, of course, Beatles. Every time the Beatles come up, they got a number one album, but it's like all the weird ones that like Beatles' second album, Beatles 65, Beatles like 6 or something. I forget, like Beatles 5 or something. Yesterday and Today. But they all hit like number one at some point in the United States for a little bit, and of course, then the big ones were for a long time. And then the Monkees, a lot of their albums were number one. Every time they came up, it was like, oh, it's another number one in Monkees album. So I'm like, that's cool. That did really well. I don't know if I'll be interested. I don't know if the Who, Led Zeppelin, I think got in there on maybe on their at least one.
That's why I don't like charts. That's why I don't tell by chart success, because
I was gonna say I don't know if the Who get in there or not. That'd be interesting to see.
the Who's. I don't. Let me check to see where the Who sellout got. My thing though is that the Monkees' first 4 albums got to number one, but Odyssey and Oracle didn't even crack the top 100.
Right. Yeah.
So.
There's the band called like Tijuana Brass Band or something like that, and they have like 5 number one or so. I don't know. It's like every other album was I forget what it's called. Herb Albert, and the Tijuana Brass Band or something like that. They had like every other album was like number one, and I'm like, who is this band? They keep getting number one. I thought that was weird. Yeah, so it's a couple of bands get in there, and you're like, this was a number one album.
Who's Next was their only number one album in the UK.
Okay. At least they had in the UK.
Tommy went to number 2, same with Quadrophenia. So they were close on 2 albums. Face Dances went to number 2, but not the Who Sellout. What the heck?
I feel like even Bob Dylan's big albums weren't like big number one hits or anything, if I'm right. And Led Zeppelin never had like a number one song, and they have so many great songs. It's always really weird, the charts.
Okay. Yeah, so their earlier albums charted the highest. Their debut went to number 3. Their second album was number 3. The King Controversy, the one that we both like the best so far, went to only number 9. Face to Face went to number 12. Something Else went to number 35. But like all their other UK albums didn't even chart.
I say, yeah, even their big stuff didn't really chart that good, did they?
Yeah, like the King's Preservation album didn't even chart. You're probably thinking, whoa, where's that number? Why is that number 47 there? That was the reissue. When it originally came out, the UK didn't go nowhere.
Wow.
So I don't. People who go by chart success of why they think a band is better, I don't know. I think.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on like what's more commercial sounding. I don't know.
I don't know.
If you're more experimental, I wonder if it'd be harder to get in there.
I will say though, just because something has good chart success doesn't make it bad though.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
No, that's true.
Like I think the Preservation album and Odyssey and Oracle are both better than the White Album, but both albums didn't even chart. Like both albums weren't even chart toppers at all. I don't know. I hate when people go by charts.
This will be our year. Took a long time.
Well, it's just interesting to see what charted number one. Every year and stuff, and just go, wow. So this is, you kind of get a sense of like what was popular, which is kind of interesting to go, oh, that was number one. Then you go, oh yeah, that's definitely number one. But I forget. It's interesting to look at.
It's weird. Ogden Snuck on Flake went to number one, but not Odyssey and Oracle.
Right, in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's always interesting to me that Ogden Snuck on Flake went to number one. That's like the last album that I expect to go number one for the Small Faces. It's just such a weird album. So Britishy. It's just
yeah.
Well, in the US, it went nowhere because no one in the US back then wanted to listen to that.
Like I don't think Pet Sounds was like a big hit when it came out.
Oh no.
Pet Sounds, and you know what? Believe it or not, Abbey Road was an album that didn't really do as well originally.
Oh really?
You're probably thinking it's Abbey Road. That's not possible. Well,
Right.
it was with mixed reception. People thought it was a good album, but I feel like, over the years, Abbey Road became, one of the most beloved albums. But back then, it was just seen as an okay album, which is interesting.
Like Rush didn't really do that well probably until Permanent Waves, maybe. I don't know.
In terms of album-wise, let me check to see what albums chart.
Chart-wise, seemed like they weren't charting well. I guess 2112 did good enough because if it did bad, they might have not been around anymore. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
break it out.
They straight up would have just broken up.
They might have, yeah.
Rush debut went to number 86. That's a surprise.
In Canada.
That was bad.
Yeah, I'm going by the Canadian charts.
Oh, really bad in the US. Oh man.
Love of the Night went to number 9 in Canada.
That's a good album.
Yeah.
2112 went to number 5 in Canada.
That did good.
Number 61 in the US.
Yeah, so none of them are doing good. Yeah, until Permanent Waves, like I said, yeah.
Farewell to Kings, number 33. Well, Hemisphere is number 47. Okay, Permanent Waves got to number 4. So there we go.
Yeah, Permanent Waves is definitely when it started getting a little bit better, I think, for Rush.
How did Moving Pictures not get number 1 in every country?
It did in Canada, but
Canada is really well.
3.
Yeah, Signals did good.
Signals only got to number 10, even though it has a number 1 hit on it.
That one person that said Rush is are athletes but not musicians.
Don't even get me started on that.
Rush, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are my favorite athletes. Maple Leafs, Toronto. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think Getty, Leifson, and Pert are in this. Should have been in this team since they're athletes. According to one person.
Oh, boy.
Oh look, it's Rush's buddies. Toronto.
What was it? The Trippy Hippies videos like, I'm ranking the albums of the maple syrup.
I'm gonna be ranking the albums from the Maple Leafs. Number 19, Moving Pictures. There's just the songs on it are too loud. Trippy Hippie doesn't know Red Barketta.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
Oh man. YYZ.
Oh, I don't even want to see Trippy Hippie rank the Police.
Oh, the Police.
Number 6.
Oh, Land Das Dammer.
Land.
Zen.
God.
Yeah. Zen. Reggae.
Forget.
Regatta. Deblunk. Regatta Deblunk.
Here's Trippy Hippies.
The French band.
Here's Trippy Hippies Rolling Stones ranking, US ranking from their first album to it'd be like their album Undercover to Hackney Diamonds, because let's be honest, those are the best Stones albums. Number one, I'm gonna go with Blue and Lonesome. Trippy Hippie.
Harkening back to their true
I like
roots.
the cover songs better than the originals.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Trippy Hippie doesn't like when the Rolling Stones writes their songs. Trippy Hippie likes when they tow other
covers, which is why his number 2 is going to be the Rolling Stones now.
Trippy Hippie raking every Fleetwood Mac album.
Oh no.
Trippy Hippie doesn't like Rumors. My grandson, the genius, told you guys why.
Number 1
Yeah.
is Time.
But number 3, Mr. Wonderful. Trippy Hippie likes reusing things. He loves familiarity.
Repeating.
I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's your biggest fan.
it's a fan. Oh man.
Yeah, this was a good idea, doing this stream. It sucks Briar wasn't available. We could have did a Night at the Opera tonight.
Yeah. I know I'm actually off, so seems like lately you guys have been wanting to do it, and I'm always working, but I only work like 3 days. I only work 3 nights a week, so it's like you have a good percentage of catching me on a off night, but you always catch me on the one night I'm working.
Well, for the Kinks reviews, I besides next week I just want to have a week off of doing videos, but
Yeah, okay, yeah.
every week after we could do the Kinks reviews until we're done with it. There's gonna be a big chunk of the Kinks that's like them at their lowest lows.
Yeah, because I was looking at because you got that Face to Face, Something Else, Preservation Society, Arthur, and then Lola.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, those are like the 5 big ones right there, probably.
I love those albums. You're gonna love those albums just by your reaction to by how much you like the pop stuff of the Controversy album.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna like those 5 albums if you like the pop stuff of that.
Then there's so I can't I'm shocked by how long they went after the peak period, and then like Mudwill something, I think, and
Newsville Hillbillies. That's like another album I really love. I don't think it's as good as the big 5, but I feel like that's an album you're not gonna like.
Yeah, the 1-2 act albums.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna here's my description, because I feel like there's eras. Like I texted you already, but I'll go over it again. So the first 3 albums is sort of them finding their sound. They start off with the more bluesy rock stuff, but then they go more towards the pop stuff in Controversy.
Yeah.
Face to Face to Lola versus Power Man, it's just them at their poppiest and their most creative. It's just
it sounded like Ray Davis really took over the group, is what I'm reading.
Yeah, he did. I mean, Dave Davies wrote a couple of songs on this album. Same with he wrote in songs on these albums, but everything else, he took mostly control.
Yeah, so it's kind of his, I don't know, his creative, ideas, sounds like, and that's the direction they went.
Yeah, their original bassist actually quit the band before making their album. So what happened is that
I got here a piano.
Hey, Stop that. You're gonna So like, yeah. So like the album did so horribly that their bassist left the band.
Kinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going over the eras with Jason. So then they sort of had like this weird, awkward transition from Percy and Musical Hillbillies, and everybody's in showbiz, where it's just like
That's a
them
typo.
going-
1975. That's a typo. It'd be a soup opera.
Oh, it was on purpose. That's how it's spelled on the album. That's actually how it's spelled on the album, believe it or not. Thinking, yeah, from everybody's in showbiz to Schoolboys in Distress, it was just them sort of. It was their theatrical period, as some people call it.
I don't like the Schoolboys in Distress cover.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. There's like three. Well, the Preservation Acts are horrible. I don't like those. I'm not looking. Those are the only two Kinks albums that I'm like not looking forward. Well, especially Act 2. I'm not looking forward to that one.
Oh, it didn't chart anywhere.
Yeah.
But then these albums, Sleepwalker, Misfits, Low Budget, Give the People What They Want, and State of Confusion. These 5 albums, these are like.
You mean Permanent Waves and Moving Pictures?
You know what's crazy about that? These 5 albums, Jason, is that this was like these 5 albums are like them at their commercial peak.
That's interesting.
11 and 15.
That's crazy. They start like in the 60s. Now you're getting the 80s and into the 90s even.
This is like them at their commercial peak in the U.S.
Or do they get to the 90s? Maybe they just get to the 80s. I can't see. No, it's 90s.
No, it's the 90s, 93.
Yeah.
That's the last album.
That's crazy. That's 30 years or whatever. Almost.
Yeah.
And we only got 7 years of the Beatles, basically.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I got my blue Pizza Hut cup.
For me, you have like 4 like amazing years of the Kinks. Them at their best. Everything else ranges from really good to not that good. That's why I'm conflicted of whether they're even a top band or not for me, the Kinks. Come dancing.
I wish it could be like David Watts.
I love David Watts. You're gonna like that song, Jason.
Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of songs from this period you're gonna like. I just know it. You're gonna like Session Man. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, Session Man.
He's a Session Man. Chord progression.
Top musician.
Oh, you've heard it.
Yeah.
Love that song. That song is so catchy. He's not paid to think, but play. I don't know if that song's about Jimmy Page or Nicky Hopkins. Supposedly, it was supposed to be like a love letter to Session Men, but it's like the most backhanded song that I ever heard. It's like he's not paid to think, just think. He's not paid to think, just play. Like he's like an idiot almost. Just a soulless person just playing an instrument. I wish Nicky Hopkins was a Who member. Really wish he did.
I need to complete my Queen collection. I am now shopping for Sheer Heart Attack.
Okay.
Well, I completed my Stones collection again by getting Hackney Diamonds. Before I was missing an album.
Oh yeah, 24 albums. Holy cow!
I know. Oh yeah, I have like a whole shelf of Rolling Stones albums. because I have a bunch of US albums. I got a bunch of compilation albums.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones and the Kinks have the most compilation albums.
I wish I could be like.
Yeah, I told this why they have these two called like The Journey, Part 1, Part 2 of the Kinks.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 albums, and each album is like almost 2 hours long or something. I don't know. It's like a lot of songs on each album. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like I have to listen to that just to see what the big hits are at some point. And
Well, The Journey is like it's like a mixture between hits and deep cuts, like a bunch of hidden gems. Like there are a lot of hits on it. Like there's Lola.
yeah, it starts with You Really Got Me and All Day and All Nights. I think it's the first 2.
Yeah, there's hits off of on those albums, but there's also a lot of cuts. So it's like supposed to be like it's supposed to cater to like new fans, but it's also they're also trying to cater to like the original fan, like people who are really into them that are like, yeah, we already have like a bunch of greatest hits albums. Let's like make one that has like deep cuts as well. If you were to get a compilation, I'd probably recommend you get Kinks Chronicles. Those are like, I'll pull up the track listing on it because
that's an interesting name.
But yeah, that's a compilation I'd recommend you guys listen to.
Makes me wonder what's the best compilation album. Probably the Red Album, Blue Album.
Yeah, those are good albums. So Victoria, like a bunch of these songs are from their period from 66 to 70. Victoria from the Arthur album, the Marine Preservation Society, Waterloo Sunset, David Watts, Shangri-La, Sunny Afternoon, King Kong. I love Sunny Afternoon. That's a great song.
Lazy Sunday afternoon.
I know.
Now I got it.
Which Sunday afternoon do you guys? What was that?
Now I gotta get the Miracle. I don't have that one.
Which Sunday afternoon? Do you guys prefer Sunday Afternoon by the Small Faces or Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks?
Blazing on a Sunday Afternoon by Queen.
That's another one. Yeah.
On a sunny afternoon. Yeah, like both. You know what's great about Sunny Afternoon? It's supposed to be like, it was like his answer to Taxman because George Harrison was complaining about the taxes, and there's a lyric in Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks where Ray Davies is like, my girlfriend's off with my yacht. She's taking everything I've got. It's like it's supposed to be like sort of like picking at it, like you're rich, deal with it, kind of. It's like,
which album was that one on?
Face to Face. I know. I remember you listened to it once. No, I remember
one time. The album cover is weird.
You don't like the album cover? I like it.
The kind of look album cover? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's like the face on it. Hold on.
Yeah. I don't find the album to be psychedelic, but it's kind of that psychedelic era kind of getting to.
Oh yeah, the Kinks. They have a couple of psychedelic songs, but they never had a psychedelic album.
I feel like they're more Baroque pop in that album than anything.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. They're kind of going for a psychedelic look, I think. But
yeah, they never made a psychedelic album, Jason, which I don't know if you would consider that to be a good thing or a bad thing.
David Watts.
They had a couple of psychedelic songs, like Lazy Sun or something like that. Lazy Old Sun and
that's a really good one.
Wicked Annabelle and Lazy Old Sun. Those are two great. I told this to you, Scott, when you were first getting to them. Like, I feel like they don't do it that often, but when they do psychedelic music, they do it really good. like I feel like they should have at least tried a little more into psychedelia, but that just wasn't their thing was psychedelic music because they like I said before to you, Jason, like Ray Davies just didn't feel like trying to appease to the Americans, so doing psychedelic music was more popular in America, so he was like, "Oh, guess we're not doing that then," because he was like, "You want to."
I'd say Face to Face reminds me more of Odyssey and the Oracle than psychedelic. I don't know.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I'm talking. Like you can see what I was talking about before is that they're starting to get like compare this to their first album. There's like no more blues rock stuff.
Oh, it's completely different. Yeah.
Like, well,
you'd be surprised if you listen to "You Really Got Me" and then listen to "Sunny Afternoon" or whatever. Like, this is the same band.
just versatile. It's probably it's probably my least favorite of the 5 best albums, but it's still a great album. Their best 3 albums are like back to back to back, like
Face to Face to Face.
Something Else to Village Green to Arthur. Oh, I love those 3 albums.
Yeah, it's funny. They're not really talked about outside of like the hardcore, music lovers. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're talked about.
I know what you're talking about. Like none of their albums are like really like in terms of like known albums that are known like Sgt. Pepper's and Pet Sounds. There's
right. Yeah.
no Kink albums in that mix.
No, I wonder if they're in. If you look at a list of 100 best albums, maybe. I mean, and then again, if it's a music lover, he probably would have like Preservation in there.
I mean, Preservation's my second favorite album of all time. So
the casual listener though probably would not, because they probably wouldn't know that album.
Oh yeah, casual listeners would not know the Kinks.
Yeah,
I mean they would know like a couple of songs by them.
They would know the 2 big songs, I would say, or whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 3. Lola, they would know Lola probably. But,
oh yeah, Lola is so recognizable.
Because that was big on the radio, but yeah, I don't know if they're talked about as much. I mean, I've said this before. John Denver. No one ever talks about John Denver, and he's got amazing albums.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And nobody put anytime I look at a like top 100 favorite albums list, I never seen John Denver on them. I'm like, I don't know why. He was huge. His albums sold really well. He was all over the radio in the 70s, and yet I don't know why they're not talked about. But
that makes. I mean, with the Kinks, I could see it because their albums didn't go nowhere besides their early 3 albums.
Right.
Which I don't know. I don't get why their first album did better than Face to Face. I think Face to Face is a lot better. But
anytime someone's like, "Oh, top albums of 1970, whatever, 2 or 1," and there's never a John Denver on there, and I'm like, John Denver's got some amazing stuff there, and like I never see Jim Croce on there, and I'm like, Jim Croce got some amazing stuff during that time.
You don't mess around with Jim.
Yeah, you don't mess with Jim. That's like that was my number 1, and then Rocky Mountain High was my number 2, but nobody else has that number 1, number 2. It's like everybody else is I don't know.
Rocky Mountain High is such a great album.
Tones or something, but
for 72.
The seasons. Oh yeah, it was one of my favorites from 72.
Well, my favorite album of 72 is something completely different.
Oh man, I love that album.
Name of the album.
Back, Jack, do it again.
I'm trying to think. 72 because Can't Buy a Thrill. Yeah, it was.
That's actually now my second favorite album of 72.
Oh, really?
What's your favorite album of 72 now?
Now it's Close to the Edge by Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Close to the Edge. That was your
my favorite albums of that year is still Foxtrot.
Foxtrot. Okay.
Walking across the sitting room. I love that song.
Oh,
The
if
David
you
Bowie.
go down the Willow Farm.
Oh man. Hello, baby. What you gonna do? That song is so ridiculous. I
It
love
is.
It's so Britishy.
I need to listen to it again. It's been too long.
We need to review Foxtrot.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
didn't. We.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's probably gonna be an album that the three, like me,
Good.
Scott, and Briar would review.
all you're gonna hear is bad stuff from me. So
Yeah, if we're gonna, if
for me, yeah, do Trick of the Tail or
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite from the early period, and then
yeah, Scott, if so, like here's a good example. So
Oh,
like,
sorry. Go ahead. 'Cause
no, I would say I had an idea. So like, if like say for what you did today, Scott, like where you're like, oh, anyone want to do this album review, and like instead instead of it like it'd be the other way around, like Jason be like, oh, I'm at work, and like or like and like Briar's like, oh, I can do it. Like we in that case, would you want to do Foxtrot in that case, or do you just want it to be 4 people in your reviews?
We'll see. Depends.
I want to review Foxtrot so bad. Love that album.
So I re-listened to Duke the other day. It
really?
had been a long time since I've heard it, and I forgot how good it was.
Well, I will say this though. Me and Briar are we're doing a Genesis series after Black Sabbath.
okay.
Nice. I will watch their Genesis series.
Okay. Well, I may or may not ask you to come on a couple of the episodes. One or two of them may not be Phil Collins related.
Bow, bow, bow.
Are you not into Black Sabbath like me, Scott?
No.
Okay, you're probably like me. What?
I've honestly, like, for me, I haven't ever really gotten into them just because they have the whole "we're evil" persona, and
Yeah.
so
Well,
that's just never really appealed to me.
they're not actually evil though. Like the lyricist is actually Christian. He just had a fascination with it.
Oh, interesting.
So he's not that. It was actually brought to me by Briar. He's like they're not actually evil. They're actually one of them's actually a heavy Christian. It's just the fascination he had with it.
Ozzy's drugged out of his mind and biting heads off.
That's a crazy guy, Ozzy Osbourne. Interesting fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even bother asking you guys for Paranoid. I originally was gonna have us all do Paranoid because that's their big album, but after seeing Scott's message with I turned off the radio after listening to Iron Man. I'm like,
I'd heard the riff before and I liked the riff, but like
That's
I
great.
heard it on the radio. I'm like, well, I'll give it a try and see because I know Nick's been reviewing them. I couldn't even listen to 2 lines of the song before I switched it over.
I am Iron. Yeah.
It was like Iron Man comes back from the grave and kills all the people that he used to save. I'm like, okay, what? That's literally what it said. I'm like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to listen to that.
Yeah.
So, which episodes of Genesis would you want to join, Scott?
Ooh. Trick of the Tail.
Yeah, that's a must.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That might be one that all 4 of us could do.
And anything from the 80s.
Okay.
And I guess Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Okay.
That's kind of a big one.
Yeah.
Would you want to join us on Trick of the Tail, Jason?
Yes.
Okay, that could be like the one episode we're all in. I'm not gonna do what we did last time with Simon and Garfunkel, where it was just the 3 of us because of the schedule thing. I still feel bad for doing that to you, Scott.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
with No
Right.
Trouble Water. The only reason why I really did that was because I really wanted to start the Kinks series.
Yeah.
And I
Move on
wanted
to something else.
something else by the Kinks.
By the Kings.
If it wasn't for that, I would have definitely waited more. But I really wanted that Kinks review to start. I wanted to talk about the Kinks. Yeah. At some point, I wanted to do it. I wanted to do a Who series, right? Review all the Who albums, all the UK albums, their debut all the way to their last album.
Cool. Well, it is after midnight.
Yeah, it's midnight.
Oh, yeah, it's one of the morning where I live because of the hour difference.
Oh yeah, it's even later for you.
Well,
You guys want?
no, what was that? It cut you off a little bit.
I call it a night, or
Yeah. Well, tomorrow, me and Briar will be reviewing Hackney Diamonds. Me and Jason will be reviewing Face to Face. Looking forward to those videos. Thank you guys. If you guys, it says I have one viewer. I don't know if that's you, Scott, still with the live chat.
Oh no.
Oh, so it must have been a viewer.
I was on for like 5 seconds just to type Joe.
no one's speaking up.
Probably Briar. Like in work.
Who are you?
But, thank you guys for watching the video. Had a blast in this general hangout stream. Yeah, this is just much better than the streams that Reactions to Classics are doing. We're not robbing you of your money. Because they're criminals almost. It's the amount of money they ask for. Like $3 just to hear a song. I don't know. I could go on a rant on why I don't like them anymore. Just when was the last time you guys saw a video by them?
I saw they were doing a stream that said like 5-year anniversary, so I literally just went on and just said happy 5-year anniversary and hopped off. But that was it.
Yeah, I can't remember last time I've seen a video from them. I haven't been doing their live streams because I usually work when they're doing them. Or
I saw they did a review on Lola by the Kinks, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I'm done with them. I already mentioned it. I hopped off of their Discord thing. I unsubscribed from their Patreon. I unsubscribed from their YouTube channel.
I post on their Facebook. That's the main thing I do.
Yeah.
I don't even use Facebook for anything other than Messenger.
I post on there, the stuff that I do on my channel, I post on there, I guess, just to get my stuff out more.
Yeah. Well, one more question before I hop off, before I end the video. What was the live stream / moment that you were like, yeah, I'm not into them like I used to with Reactions to the Classics?
Oh, it's when they started doing the album listening thing, and I'm like, I just found the most amazing album ever, Eye in the Sky by the Alan Parsons Project.
Right.
And I put that on there, and they're like, okay, but we're also going to do Sufjan Stevens, and everyone talks about Sufjan Stevens, and nobody says anything about Alan Parsons. And I'm like, that hurts.
Yeah, they did that. They did the same thing with the Small Faces, and like no one talked about the Small Faces album. That hurt me too. I'm just like, really? Really? You trying to say like the album I suggested wasn't good enough? Whatever. That really pissed me off. Not that, but they're one of those Beatle fans that can't handle the fact that other people could have an opinion. That also turned me off from the channel. I don't know.
I still like they're nice to me and everything, but
Sean, not Sean. Trey's nice. I like Trey, but I really don't like Sean. Can't stand him.
Yeah.
Like he's like a big reason why I don't watch their channel anymore. If it was just Trey running the channel, I'd probably watch him still. But I don't know. Sean could be a turn off from that channel. I don't know his whole personality. I never watched the Wednesday streams. I did one time and I regretted it. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's just something I can't explain.
Yeah, I don't participate too much in live streams as much unless they're like really like close friends that I collaborate with, and because there's so much stuff to do, it's hard to catch every live stream that's out there.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, but they're just stubborn with the collaborations. Like I've never seen them do a collaboration before.
No, they don't collaborate with other people really. So that's why I got other people that I collaborate with. So yeah, we're close.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that made me upset is that I either had paid money or won the free raffle to play All of My Love by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And he had to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh, well, while I'm going to the bathroom, here's All of My Love by Led Zeppelin. And it just said, like, we'll be back. And that was playing it while he was in the bathroom. And, like, he wasn't able to talk about the song. I was like,
yeah.
I know. That would have annoyed me. The biggest thing that annoyed me is I literally paid my own money to listen to Echoes versus 2112. They're like, this song's too long. I literally paid enough. I literally paid a lot of money for those two songs. It's like, I'm only going to play 6 minutes of each track. I'm like, really? I paid enough for both the tracks in its entirety. Like, I even offered to. I'm like, how about you put them on separate stream? Like, put it on a different, like, make it part 2 and even make it the last part. And yeah, you just flat out ignored when I said that, and just like, I don't know. Yeah, not that, but like the parts of Echoes that he played, he literally mostly played the whale noises part.
No.
And I'm like, that's not the part you're gonna play. Like, you're making Echoes look like a bad track.
Need the bone.
I don't know. Probably.
I will say about Echoes, there was a time when I got a day off and I listened to the metal album. But I was so exhausted from work that I felt like I was going to fall asleep, and I rested my eyes. And I was kind of halfway asleep on the first side. And then when I turned it over and played Echoes, I took a little 20-minute power nap to Echoes. And that was one of the most refreshing things I've ever done. I don't know what it was about falling asleep with Echoes, but I don't know what it was, but it was amazing.
Cool. Yeah. Probably the biggest thing that made me like dislike the channel was the country live stream that they did the one time.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, yeah, no, this channel fell off. This channel is not as good as it used to be.
I like when we did the bad songs and Scott put up Mother from Police on there. That's the first time I ever heard that
song. Was I think it was Mother versus Be My Girl Sally or something like that.
I was like, holy cow, that's a bad song.
Yeah, that was right before we did the Police ranking.
That's right. We did the Police.
And I'm like, Jason, please do not be afraid to listen to the Police. I've literally picked their worst song.
That was the worst one. I was like, wow. It was on their best album too, I think.
Yeah. That was like the only video that Jim did with us with the ranking.
Oh yeah,
who?
Police.
Adam.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Popo.
I'm glad I did a video with him again. That was nice. We did George Clinton.
Yeah.
He's gonna be on my channel someday. He's gonna be doing Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Nice.
Looking forward to
it. Yeah.
No.
Well, I got a little sidetracked. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for the one lovely viewer who watch this whole thing.
I
Would have
bet
been
you
nice.
it's Jordan.
It was either Jordan or Breyer.
Brian would say something, I would think, but
Well, he said he was at work, so
right,
I wouldn't.
He might be
Oh.
on in his pocket
maybe.
as an earbud in or something.
Maybe.
Well, thank you guys for watching this. As soon as I end the stream, I'm closing out of StreamYard like right away. So
Okay.
have a good one, Jason. I'll see you tomorrow. Scott.
I'm
I'll
Neil
see you-
Young.
Hopefully, well, yeah, hopefully me and hopefully me and Scott could do 1976 stream soon. But thank you for joining me, Jason. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.